Hi everyone, morning. Hope we're all okay. I've been up and down the stairs, so I'm absolutely out of breath. Hope you're all okay on this lovely, we've got sun again, really nice morning. And of course it's Valentine's Day, is it? Yeah, I think so. You wouldn't know that. That sort of tells you that we never really bother with Valentine's. But anyway, a lot of you do. So I hope you've got lots of lovely gifts from your loved ones. But today I'm going to show you ideas using our cupcake set. Yeah, and in that set you get all sorts of things. I'm going to crack on and show you all about them. Okay, so I'll begin with cutting them all out, and I think that's the easiest way, and then I can show you what I've done with them. So because some of them are going to go on cookies, some of them are going to go on a cake side. For the cookies, you obviously want to use like a sugar paste. You don't want anything too firm, you know, you don't want a flour paste or something like that. So you could, if it's very soft, firm it up with a little Tylo powder. Sorry about my plaster, that's where I was then. I just realised I needed something to cover that burn. Yeah, so I'm just using sugar paste. Now, if you find yours is really soft, then add a little Tylo powder to it, just a pinch, to about that much, just a pinch, which will firm it up, but it'll stay soft enough to eat alongside a cookie. So, just get the bits off there. I've been colouring black raw icing. Right, so I'm rolling this out, and oh, I've got green. God. Do you know what? It's going to be one of those days, guys. I found the green off the top of the spruce now. Right. I'll just cut that little bit off. I was so in control this morning, and I thought, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that, and that's what happens when you've got lots of time. I work better under pressure, as you've probably noticed. I work better when I'm galloping along. Right, so if you wanted to use icing sugar, well, avoid it as this for this, because I'm going to use this to cut out. So now if you use icing sugar or corn flour, obviously then it's going to lift into the cutter. So I'm just going to press around the outside edge and medium pressure on the centre bit there, and give that a little flip. Now, because the paste is sugar paste and it's quite soft, I would just go around that with a knife. See, because it hasn't cut right through, you do get that little jagged, but then you can go around with your knife. Again, I'll just cut down the sides and across the base. And that's only because I'm working with the sugar paste, not flour paste. If it was flour paste, I'd roll it really thin. The design that we've put on the site is an old design. I will go over that one, but I wanted to show you newer things, new ideas. Right, so you would lift that, and I'm going to pop it onto either a dusting sheet or a board, something that I can colour with. Okay, so that's there, like that. I'm going to cut out a couple of little ones as well. Now again, this could be flour paste or the stiffened sugar paste. Although I'm lifting it, I'm re-rolling. So making these nice and thin. And so in the pack you do get the large, one large, and then you've got 3 little mini ones. So just give that a flick. So different designs on them. I'll turn it to you in a mo. Press around the top. Not particularly over the inner lines, but just around the outside edge. The inner lines will emboss anyway. Let's see. Okay, and then in the pack you also get these little little flowers. Paste is a little bit thick there. Try that one. And you get, I'm using smaller cutter, so I'm just rolling the paste thinner. You get a little strawberry to decorate the tops, and then this one, which looks like a half circle, it's actually meant to be either a cherry or a chocolate like the Maltese type thing. Okay, so I'm going to lift these out and put them on my dusting board. So pull the paste away like that, as much as you can, halfway around anyway. Then lift, finger on there, pop that across, and then you've got your little flower. Now this flower I'm going to use for a different arrangement later on. A few ideas with that. So if I turn those round, you can see the flower, the strawberry and the chocolate drop. We call it a chocolate drop. Now for the little cupcakes, just take the paste away and pop them on your whatever it is you're going to paint on. Pull that away. So always remove the paste from around the piece that you're working on. Don't just try and pull that out. It's much easier to actually just remove the paste from around the edge. That's with all the patchwork cutters. Okay, I'm being very neat lining those up. Okay, I've got them on there. Just put those to one side. Now in the for the larger cupcake, obviously these would be completely lost. So you do get, I just wonder where they are there. They are. You get a larger strawberry. So there's a little mini one, that's the larger one, which I have cut some out. That's the flower. So you've got a large flower, and then you've got the little tiny one for the smaller cupcake. So that could go on there. And then you have the cherry or the chocolate drop bowl, whatever. And I'll just put those to one side because I'm going to show you some different ideas with those. Now, I'm going to also just ice this board and use them as just embossers rather than cutting the pieces out. And I'll do a bit of painting. So this would be your cake or board. So rather than have a big cake out, I'm just showing you on smaller pieces first, and then I'll show you the finished board, etc. later. Okay. For those who live nearby, the coffee mornings are going really well. We've just had a group from Liverpool book on. So if Debbie is watching, nice one Debbie, thank you. It's lovely to see you all. And we have hopefully another date coming out soon, so watch this space and I can tell you all about that hopefully very shortly. Right, let's put that sugar paste over there. So I'm just going to emboss a little row of these onto there. So you'd go around your cake or on your cakes, and cut it off, on your cake side. A little press. And then the plain one. I've got greasy hands. Might just try and press the top of that a little more clearly. As long as you get it back in the groove, then you can re-emboss. You've got to take care if you're going to do that. That's it. So if I turn that to camera, hopefully you can see that. Just the outlines. So we have the twirly one, so that looks as though it's been piped. And you have one with a little icing on the top of the cake, and then the whole cake painted in there. Okay, so I'm going to just colour these now. It doesn't take long for painting. I'll just get my brushes, put that icing over there out of the way. Right, so use this one. And then the colours, I'm going to use, I tend to do the casing part of it in one colour. So I'm going like, in this case, an iced toffee colour. And then I'll mix with the alcohol and just go over that. The alcohol doesn't evaporate really quickly, especially if you're in a warm room. Okay, and then this one. So remember, this can be around the board edge, or it can be directly onto the side of a cake. And so I'm going to bring these in as well. Might as well do all this colour while I'm painting. And so the big one, remember to go down the sides, although what I'm going to do with this, probably that won't make any difference, but if you're just going to leave them as a painted, then don't forget to go around the cut edge, over the top if you like, over the edge, like so. The base. Down there, and then the cut out ones. Now they always look a little bit messy, these, because you go over the edge. It does go onto the board or whatever it is you've got them on to do your painting. You can, unless they're going on the side of a cake, you could leave these to dry before you paint them. But you'll see why, if they're going on the side of a cake, you need them, especially if it's a round cake. If it's a square cake, there's no problem, but if it's a round cake, you still need to have a little bit of movement in them. Right, I think I've got all that colour on. And then I'm just going to mix a little brown with that. Just a touch of that. You don't stock these colours, do you, Marion? Love some of those colours you use. Right, okay. Watch this space. I will be getting these in. We are going to start to stock everything that I'm using. So it just makes sense that if you're going to order cutters, then you should be able to get everything else at the same time. So just mixing a little bit of brown now with that, just to take in a little bit of shading along the base and to one side there. So just darkened it a little with the brown. And you can do that on the embossed ones as well. But yeah, I will get these in as soon as I can, because they are lovely. And I do use, it's not just one company, I do use all sorts of colours that you collect over the years, don't you? And I know there's some of them have got best before dates, but if you're just using them for practice, then, you know, you're okay with them. Right, so I'm just going down the side. If you want to know about colouring and painting, go on Tracy Mann. She does classes on painting. Absolutely wonderful they are. So I'm just going to go over this one a little bit more. I'm just a a bit of a slapdash, get it on. I think that's as I say, I'm a bakery trained many years ago, and I think that's where the speed bit comes in. Plus I get bored if I'm spending ages on something. I know I should calm down a bit, but hey ho. So anyway, I've got the cases all done, and then you choose what colour. I'm just rinsing my brush in water, by the way. Just got that off camera, I think, but just use water for that. So I'll go in with some pink. So on this one, I'm going to go pink there. I got another question. The Christmas colours I brought from you were beautiful. Yes, and you can use them. You can use the Christmas colours. Do you sell the little plaque cards, please? Again, no, but if I think people are interested, then yes, I will do. I'll get all these things in. In the past, I've really only sold patchwork cutters, and that was it. But more and more people are asking me about what I'm using, obviously. So yeah, I will start to stock all this other stuff. I used to like magic sparkles and all that. I did take those to shows and things, but we're not really doing shows anymore. It's travelling, etc. Right, so there is one I might be going to later in the year, but I'll keep you updated on that one. This one is called Orchid White. Again, it's one of the edible art colours. I always think it looks like lime green, but anyway, Orchid White is what they've called it, so that is what we will call it also. And what I'm going to do, I think I might just go over this pink one here, because I've done with a bigger brush. Try that one. Playing with the dry dust work just as well as wet painting. Yes, it will, but when you've got colours together like that, if you dry dust, I will be dry dusting some of them and this one again in a minute, but if you dry dust, then you're very likely to those colours will merge, where I want a definite separation of colour. So I'm going over this one with the pink. I'm obviously pink person today. So I'm just giving it like a water wash, if you like. And then you can go over with a dry dust if you wanted to. But if you can't use alcohol for any reason, then use pure lemon extract. That dries really quickly, and you can get that from supermarkets now. I know Sainsbury's have it anyway. There's a little plug for Sainsbury's, but I'm not quite sure if I can use trade names. Actually, they tend to block me out when I do that. So I've got that, so I'm going same direction with that. So you can see that it's slightly smeary, but if you go over with a dry brush and the dry dust in a moment, that will have dried off anyway, and then you can get let me see, put that to one side. And what other colour have I got here? I'll put a nice yellow on there, and a gold on that one. Just looking to see what colours I've already got out. Right, so that's that gold doesn't really want to go on very much, does it? Anyway, so then you can colour. That's the sort of peachy one that's just fallen on the floor. Now these are Sugar Flare, the beautiful colours, but I've knocked so many of these over. I do have a little stand that I put them in now, so do be careful. Oh, I could have gone over the flower dry, but anyway. If you're not as clumsy as me, then you're okay, you're fine. That's that one. And then I'll go over with the brown. So my chocolate drop on there. So I like painting them up because it just means that you're not having lots and lots of different colours. You know, if you cut them out in different colours and put them on the cake, then you have got lots and lots of different colours. I'm losing bits off my paintbrush handle here. So, red for the strawberry. It's so tiny, I'm not even going to bother painting the little tiny yellow seed pip things on this strawberry. I'll lift that up in a minute. Just put more dust colour in if it looks a little bit wishy-washy, and then you can go over that again. And then I'm using a dark green frosted, no, not a frosted leaf, it's the rainforest. This one's called, again, Edible Art, and I think that was in the Christmas pack of colours that we had. They were lovely, those. Okay, so just go over that, and then a little gold in the centre of that flower. So you can use any colours, obviously, that you like. And then going back here, then you put a little water or sugar glue on the top of each one. If I turn that to camera, and I can lift these. So I'll put the little purple flowers on that one. And I'll put the strawberry. That's gold. It does need, let me see, I might go on peach with that. No, I've done peach, haven't I? I'll dry dust that gold. Let me find another brush. That's this. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I'll put the strawberry on that one. On that one. And I'll put the little chocolate drop on that one. Okay, now I'm just going to hold on to that a second. I'm just going to, well, I don't actually need to paint these, do I? You've seen me paint the ones I've cut out. So these are painted exactly the same. Now, what I haven't done is embossed the flower on there, because you would end up with this extra line. So if you put, if you want to, you can cut out these little bits and put them on after you've coloured them. So that's how you would, round a board, I tend to just leave them painted. So I would paint them exactly the same. Okay, so I'll show you a board that I've done in a minute, a party board. Now, what's in at the moment, I just want to keep those soft. So I'm just going to put my, no, that's not going to work. I'll just leave them like that for now. That wasn't a good idea because I've just taken most of the red off the strawberry. And although it is only a dem piece, I can't leave it like that. So what's in at the moment are the cartoon type finishings on cakes, etc. And I thought, oh, we could do a cartoon type cookie. So round here, I'm just going to move all these colours out of the way because you know what will happen otherwise. I'll put them back on the tray like they're supposed to be. You see, my idea of tidying up is to go whoosh and just push everything to one side. And really, I should do this. I should be more tidy. And definitely put the top back on that blue. Right. Okay, so I'll just put that to one side a sec. And I'm going to use a little Trex just to remove the dust colour from the board, from the rolling pin. And then I'm going to roll out. Now you can pipe around these little cupcakes, or for the bigger one especially, I'm going to roll out some black paste. So I'm just using sugar paste. I think flour paste is just too firm to do this. I think that actually, having said that, no, this is flour paste, and I did think yesterday, gosh, sugar paste would be good. So just really work it well. That's it. That's it. I'm just going to add a little bit of Trex to it. I don't normally, especially if you're making flowers, don't add Trex to your paste, your flour paste, because it just makes them soft. They never dry out properly then. I keep saying I'm going to go over the making the Mexican paste and why I use that. Anyway, so for something like this, you put Trex on your board, never corn flour, never icing sugar. Roll that out. Begin with your fingers. Now, if you have an extruder, if I said that correctly, then that's great. Use that. I don't. I can't be bothered washing them out, to be honest. I just find it easier and quicker to do that. So roll it with your smoother until you get the thickness that you're after. Okay. I'll keep going. So this just avoids all your finger marks. Now, if you're doing the cartoon type cakes, then you do on the side, if you're going to do like a jam and thing, you do leave it more knobbly. But I want this to just be a little bit neater. I don't do knobbly, I'm afraid. I find it very hard to do things like that. I will do it, but right. So then I'm just going to loop that round, and then that can go. Now, what I do now is cut that one at the back off, and then this one, cut it, and then just fold it back out the way. Like so. Make sure all that's stuck down nicely. Okay. And then keep on rolling these little thin strips out. Not thin strips, thin sausages, aren't they? Okay, and again, I'm just using water, but if you want to use the sugar glue, that's entirely up to you. So you take that down and there. Some people would probably make a break in it so it looks as though it's been drawn on rapidly. So you put part of it and then a little dot and then a bit more. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. This is just an idea. As I had using, this is it, you see, some of our cutters are so, not old, well, yeah, old, many years ago. They can be adapted, so you can bring them into a sort of a more modern look to them, rather than just have them painted in like I've done. So that would go in there. Give a little press. That one will go there. A little press. And then this is where you say, how many are coming to the party? How many do you need? How long have you got? But you could pipe them on. I'm going to show you one of the little mini ones in a minute, piped with a number 1 piping nozzle. And some people are a little bit wary, they think, oh, number one, oh heck. But you know, I find it easier if it needs a finer nozzle. Then, you know, if you were writing, you would use a pen, you wouldn't use a big fat crayon. And that's the sort of difference. That's how you've got to think of it. Don't be put off because it says number one. It's not a difficult. The hardest thing is not getting your royal icing stuck in the end of the nozzle. Sometimes if you go down to a naught, then I would definitely put the icing through and a new pair, you know, a new pair of tights, the nylon tights, and you squeeze it through. It takes out any tiny little lumps that may block your piping tip. I'm just rolling that out. The last one, like so. Now just make sure that, oh, nearly cut through there then. Just make sure that you've cleared the ends. So I'm just taking this, take all these little bits away. Anything overhanging the edge there, remove. And then you put your water along there. And then that piece just folds around again. Just keeps it nice and neat. Now across here, again, just make sure that's nice and soft. And then put your tracks. Now, Wayne got in touch and did say what it was called in Australia, tracks. Wayne, I wrote it down and I haven't brought it. Something like Cofra or something. Cofra. And we'll get it out for next time. I'm going to pin it on the wall. Then I can see all these things at a glance. Okay, so I'm just going to roll this a little bit more there. I don't think I need that much. Okay. Oh, thank you, Wayne, you're with me. Kofa. I take it that PH is pronounced F, so Kofa. You're a star, thank you. And it's made of coconut, is that right? Coconut. That tastes nice anyway. Right, so then I'm going to just moisten along there with a little water. And pop that on. Just loose. Just take it to start there. Press it to secure it, and then either with a Dresden tool or a frilling stick or even a paintbrush handle, just begin to push that into those little wavy lines. Because it's loose, you can just feed it back again. In there, there. And then cut that off. And just check that from side on, make sure that that's sitting into the embossed outline. You don't want to see the embossed outline at all, otherwise it looks as though it hasn't been finished correctly. And then I'm just going to get a darker shade of, I might just put this little tiny bit of, what's this one, violet. Put a little tiny bit of violet in there. Just to darken that side. because that's where the shade would be. And then you take a tiny piece of white. I'm just cutting a little tiny bit there. Little water. Pop that on. Now in this bag here, I have my smaller one, a number 1. So I can just pipe around. Now I'm keeping the nozzle really low. I'm not dropping it from a height. Okay, and then you can take, now I've already cut out some of the larger pieces, so I'm just going to pop this this one that looks like the chocolate drop on the top, like so. Try not to make a mess there. Okay, right, so we've got that, and then need to put a bit more pink in there. And then I've used the same, I'll just show you on here. So what I've done on here is I've rolled out some cookie dough, embossed the cutter onto it, and then I've cut round, baked it. It did go slightly, so then I have had to trim that down a little. Okay, and then you can place your cookie. Oh, I've got some dried here as well, that's what I've already done. Oh, and I put a little highlight on the chocolate bit as well, so that can go on there. So you've got iced cookies, okay, and I've done a blue one. This is with the flour, just need to put a bit more of the brown there, but this is a blue one with the flour, so I've got a larger flour there, which I'm going to show you about using these in different ways now. So this is just to give you an idea. Let's just take this off there, because it's sugar paste, it's still quite bendy and soft, so you've got to be a bit careful. So they could go on cookies, and you could have, what I'm going to do at the end is put everything onto a party board. If people call them a cookie board, but if you're going to put other things on there, then it's a party board. So there'll be a few cookies, a few little cupcakes, which I'm going to show you in a minute, the mini ones, and a cake. So just going to move these to one side, put them back over here. And I just want to show you these little ones here. If I just take this off, the flour off here, it's a little bit soft. What you can do with these, instead of rolling out the paste like so, that does need a little bit of white highlight there, doesn't it? But what you can do is with a number 1 piping nozzle, you pipe around the outside edge, and you can see the nozzle is really low down. Again, I'm not, if I was doing a straight line, I lift it up quite high, but I'm not. I'm doing little wavy lines, and I like my nozzle really low down, and you're using the outline obviously as a guide. So I do all the outline first, excuse me. Okay, and then I'm going to do these. Now these, I don't do the whole line, I just scratch in part, and that's when I said about a break, there's a break in it. Okay, so you have the outline to match this, And also then you would go round, say, the little flower, and just piping around that edge. And then that, it's a bit soft, but that would go on there like that. All right, so you've got your little ones there. So I have cut out on this board, I'll just show you them now, a lot of the little ones ready to go on the cupcakes. So on my party board, rather than have large cupcakes, especially teenagers and that, they don't want great big cupcakes and big wedges of anything. So I've made some little mini cakes and I've popped them on there. So all I've done is put a little ball of the nice flavoured, chocolate flavoured sugar paste into a ball. Do you use the extra black to colour the icing, Marion? Yes, I do. I use the paste colour, the black extra. I think that's a sugar flare, isn't it? Right, so I'm just looking for, let me see. Oh, it's in there. This little bit of brown on here. So these are just bite-sized, and I have actually made them. They're not plastic this time. They're little bite-sized cupcakes. So all you need is a little water on there. Pop that on, water, and this raises the cupcake from the board. I'll do that one. So that goes on flat. Oop. That goes on flat like so. So just raise it up a bit. Now these really small ones, they're small, but these are little mini bite-sized ones. What I do with that is ball of the paste and then just press it so it's like a wedge, like a wedge of cheese type thing. So it's just putting it on your hand and just press, and then moisten with the water, and that just tips them forward because they're slightly large to go on flat like the others, and it makes it look a bit interesting, doesn't it? And so you take one of the dried, when I say dried, again, they're sugar paste, so they're not going to dry rock hard, but even if it was flour paste, that black hasn't quite dried fully. Even if it was flour paste, they're crunchy, aren't they? So it's only like eating a thin layer of icing, you know, like a royal icing or something like that. But no, I've used the flour, the sugar paste for all those. So I'm going to put those on my party board in a minute. I'm just going to show you the other things that you can do with those flowers. So right, so if I'm just on here, so I'm just going to give you a few quick ideas now. So I'm just going to just along here, I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 of the larger flowers cut out, and I've dusted them in pink. So they're from white paste, dusted them in pink just as I've done all the other colouring. And then that could have been there. A bit too far, too far over with that. So I've got those 3. So this could be around the centre of your cake, like I'm doing here. If that was the side of your cake, maybe a bit deeper. And then you can, where's my number 3? So I want a bigger nozzle for this. And you can then squeeze and pull down just to make a nice little garland. You can cut out leaves if you wanted to. I'm going to do those in a minute. So it's squeeze and pull down, and then finish off with squeeze, 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 and then 3 at that end. I tend to put them on in 3s. So it's squeeze and pull down. So you're doing like little shells really, but with the points coming out. So that gives that nice little border. And then, if I just get this off here, there are the smaller ones. So these are the smaller cake tops on there. Just got a little... Is the large flower in a different set? No, everything I'm showing you now is in this set. So these are, I mean, just never mind the cupcakes. These are just perfect for, you know, other. This is why I wanted to show you them, because hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It just gives you different ideas of using the other cutters that are in there. So again, this could be round the board, it could be round the cake, it can be, not really good with me spacing, am I? Move that one there. It can be in little groups of 3, like a little garland around the side of a cake, or complementary around a board, or something completely different, which I'm going to show you in a second. No. Right, so that sort of the same as the top. You could put these in amongst, say, in a blue and pop them in there. That would look really pretty too. So again, I'm just going to squeeze these out. Number, I think this is a number, let's have a look, a 2. So the bigger one was a 3. The one I've piped around the cupcakes is a 2. No, the one I've piped around the cupcakes is a 1, and this is a 2. I'll get there in a minute. Right, in the same set. Could do with a bit of gold in the centre of those, I think. Right, so I'm just going to put that to one side. Now, I want to just paint in this one. And then I'm going to put everything on my party board. So this is the little strawberry. So I'm going to use the red. So it's not that actually the little strawberry is on there, isn't it? So that's the little strawberry that you get for the mini cupcakes. And so this one, I'm just going to now, the inquiry about the dry dusting, this is a larger piece, and I am dry dusting this. It's only when it's really small, narrow, maybe you need to paint it. So if I painted this and then let it dry, I would probably go back over that then with the dry dust. The painting just gives you a good base. So this set, by the way, is in our deal of the week sale. So it's absolutely going for a song at the moment. And that's what we're going to do every week. We're going to do a deal of the week. So whatever I'm using that week will be in the sale or in the deal. Okay, so that's should be a bit darker than that. I'll just give that a little, blow that away. For all those who know me will be very impressed that I've just done that and haven't gone whoof like I usually do. And then the gold and a little alcohol. Where have I put the alcohol? There it is. And then just paint in those little bits on there. So you've got your strawberry. Right, so with that, what I've done here, oh, there's the blue gone over, but at least I had the top on it, so that's good. I'm going to take that strawberry off there. Just need to wipe down a little. Like my hands, just getting a little bit covered in there. And then a little Trex on here. And that will just clean my board up. Now, if you wanted a nice little plaque for a gardener, or if you're doing a deep cake and you wanted something on the side, then I think this is quite pretty. And again, I'm still using the Cupcake Set. And so I have a, what do you get? Oh, where do you get the wee puffer? Most Sugarcraft supplies would have these. It's just probably craft shop I picked it up from. But yeah, most Sugarcraft shops do have them. So I've made, what I've done on here, oh there it is, I'm looking for my plaque. I've just covered an oval board and I've crimped around the side. If you're crimping, I'll do that another time. Some people don't like crimping, I think it edges it, but you're just pinching it that way. So the curve is that way, not particularly that way where it goes out. So if I can just show you this, if you have a look at that basic shape, you're just cutting out from your orange, that basic shape. So you can make a small one or a larger one, and then I've just put a band across there, and I'm going to just put a little bit of green on the plaque, right, on there. And then if I get quite a large brush, and I'm just going to go over with the frosted leaf, just to give a little background colour there. Oh, heck, I've forgotten a really important stage. I wonder if I can get that off. Yeah. Right. I'll pop that on the back of there, because you do need to just put a little bit of shading on this. So if I mix some of this, which is rust, with a little, I'm just going to go in with a little peach on there. Okay, so a little rust, a little bit of peach, just to let it down a little. And this is going on dry, so I'm going to just bring that, still a little bit dark, but it'll do. Just from the outside of the piece in towards the centre. Do that on both sides. Again, the peach just to break it down a bit. So do I need to sauce the puffers as well then? Would you all like a puffer? Okay, so you can see I'm bringing that in, leaving it lighter down the centre. Right, that'll do. And then that can go back on my plaque. Like so. So I've just got this green, I'll put it a bit low down, this green on there. Let me get rid of these. And then what I've done, sorry Marion, did you say what colour you used for the plant pot? Oh, it was just some terracotta. There's the icing there that I used. And it's rainbow dust, you know, the gel colours. It's the terracotta that I've used on that. And will you be getting the books that are out of stock back in? I am making a nice little collection. No, they're not out of stock, they're out of print. So we're not having those done, I'm afraid. Sorry. Right, so I'm just going to put a few of these little curly bits on there. Well, maybe one there. Now what I've done, I've used our Briar Rose set. I've used the leaves because the strawberry leaves are quite jagged around the edges. So all I've done is I've cut out a couple of the sizes. I think it was the medium and small of the leaves. I've turned them over, softened the back, and then if you wanted just a little movement, not too much, just put them between 2 cocktail sticks. So if you want more movement, put them between a couple of satay sticks because they're deeper. But this will just give you a little movement. So I'll just tip those out. Okay. Oh, cocktail sticks everywhere. Right, and you could brush over with a little of the darker green just to give them a nice bit of colour. And then I'm just going to pop them on here. So I'm using the larger nozzle, but you don't really have to have a nozzle in this for this. Just get a few of these leaves on. I haven't brushed over with any colouring on this, but I could have done with the darker green if I wanted to. Just get loads of leaves on first. Put one on there. And then you can get the strawberries. So I've got 3 here, and also some of the little flowers. So that's out of the smaller of the 2 sizes that you get, but they make perfect little flowers for this. I'll put a strawberry there because they tend to just tuck themselves under the foliage, don't they? She says, as if I know. But when I see them in the garden centres, they always look as though they're underneath. I might grow strawberries. I did grow them once and the squirrel ate a lot. I'll put another one there. We've got very fat squirrels. I did plant 360 daffodil bulbs once, and I just sat watching him sitting on the fence, just munching away, and hardly anything came up. So what I've done here, I've kept them white, and I've just put a little pointy piece of flower paste in there, because you do get these little, what will be the strawberries. That's the centre, what would turn into a strawberry, wouldn't it? And maybe another one just tucked under there. Okay, and there it goes. So if I just turn that around so that you can have a closer look at that, and then I'm just going to put everything onto my party board. Not this, but as I say, this could go on a plaque or on the side of a cake. So you would put that on before it's dried. If it's a round cake, you would put it on the side, and then all this could be placed on directly onto the side of the cake. Just makes a nice little design. Very easy to do as well. So the leaves are from the Briar Rose set, which I've shown lots and lots of ideas using the Briar Rose, but it's always handy to have these in, especially with them having a little jagged edge leaf. Right, so just going to get my little party board up now, just to put together, so that you can see what it looks like. So let me get the cake out first. So I have iced a cake already. Just going to move all that out of my way. I'm going to have such a tidy up time after. So as I say, everything is on that set. You get one large cupcake, 3 small, all the little bits, large and small, like a flower, strawberry, chocolate drop. Right. So I've done, this is the cake I've done. Right, there we are. And so the painting that I was showing you before, when I've embossed into the side and I painted them up, that's exactly what I've done on there. So I haven't cut them out. I've just embossed in and painted. Now if you're going to cut them out, as I say, I've done some here, and it's a round cake, they do need to go on while they're still soft. So just turn that over and put a little water on the back. and pop them on wherever you want them to be. And then in between that you can use, I'm not going to do the whole cake, just giving you the ideas. You could use little pens just to put on, just to draw on some little flecks, so that would look like sprinkles. So you do different colours, and that's the picture that we put on with the sprinkles. This is just a sugar paste top, obviously. So if you wanted the sort of this, let me just try and lift that up. It's the dry. You could pipe around the outside edge of that, as I've done this. Just going to see if that would go on. No, I don't think it would. Let's see. No, it won't. It would need a little bit of icing anyway, but it's because it's dried, it's going to stick out at the edges. It's not going to blend itself round the side. So we'll leave that. So on my party board then, I've iced the board. I've embossed it with the cupcakes, yeah, and then I've painted them all. So when I said before, I haven't put the little dots, the little tops on these. I think it would be too much. It would just start getting too complicated. So if I move that out of the way, but you could choose your best angle. You could pop your cake towards the back if it's a smallish cake. This is a 7-inch, right? So you could have that. Then you could have just use that your cupcakes. So they could go sort of in the front. And that one isn't on a cupcake, on a cookie, but it could be. So you could have 2 or 3 at the front, and then you can put all your little cupcakes around the sides, like so. So it just gives everyone a choice. They can either have a piece of cake, a cookie, or they could wait for the big cake to be cut and have some of that. But sometimes a little bite size is all that's needed. Put that one in the front there. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed the dem. Oh, I need to sit down now. Talk to myself. Right. I hope you've enjoyed that, the dem, showing that the one set. It is in, as I say, it is in the sale of our offer of the week. Think about what we call it. Bargain of the week. Anyway, whatever it's called. But thank you for joining me today. I'm not sure if I'm on next week. If I am, it'll be earlier in the week rather than later. But we are filming another class at the moment. So, yeah, but we'll have a look. Now, Tracy's on tomorrow with her fabulous cocoa painting. Absolutely wonderful she is. So don't miss that. If you can, even if you can't watch it tomorrow, they can watch on catch up, as a lot of people do, because I know you're all at work. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. I'll let you know when. Thank you. Bye.